Two marker. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I am your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680.
And this is Lex back at it again with another review.
Back at it, guys. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Our Ted Lasso daily reviews. Thank you so much, everybody. Alamo City Movie Talk fans, Ted Lasso fans out there. And if you have not already, like, share, subscribe to us on our YouTube channel for movie reviews, or in this case, Ted Lasso reviews we got coming out. And do not forget, guys, we got a big announcement coming out. We will be at Dallas Fan Expo in June 9th, guys. We'll be there live there. Say hi to us at Dallas Fan Expo. We'll be there at that Comic-Con, a huge Comic-Con. Really good major stars are going to be there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll definitely be there. Say hi to us, man. Say hi to me and Lex. Because we are going to be present there. We're going to be doing a bunch of stuff there. So be sure to look out for us if you will be in the Dallas area. And furthermore, going back to our Ted Lasso reviews, me and Lex decided we're going to do a watch party with you guys on Wednesday on the 31st of May, which is planned to be the season series finale. So it's almost here, man. We're already in May, dude. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, yeah. What is it? 4 more episodes left? I mean, yeah, but
after
right?
this one, I think.
After this one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 4 more episodes left, guys. We're excited. We're gonna do a watch party. Hopefully, you guys will be there with us. I'll try to. We won't try to display it as much because obviously copyright issues, whatever. But we will do the best as we can of our ability of watching it with you guys, synchronizing it. And we'll be like, we'll try to do the best we can with it. But yeah, Ted Lasso, we'll come hang out with us virtually, of course, because we wish we could hang out with every single one of you guys who are subscribers and fans, and we could just talk Ted Lasso, put on comments, comment with us. But yeah, without further ado, guys, once again, I am your host, Ryan D, Ryan680.
And this is Lex, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Yeah, let's get right to it, Lex. So, Lex, episode 8 will never have Paris. So this episode, episode 8, 4 more episodes left, guys. I just still can't believe it. We're 4 episodes from the series / season finale of this, and it just, we're not going to mention spoilers, guys. So no spoilers just yet. We will mention spoilers when we put the tab up. But Lex, what did you think of this episode here? We kind of didn't know where it was going to go. I really didn't either. I didn't expect it to happen the way it did. But what was your initial reaction? Because we've been having these emotional episodes where it's such a grip taking on ourselves, emotional, mental health awareness thing, to where like it really exceeds itself, right? I mean, there's so much development here between these characters here, but I would say it calmed down a little bit on that part. I mean, yeah, what did you think of this episode here, man? I mean, first reaction, first thoughts.
Yeah, so towards the last episode, we found ourselves in a position where both the team and the show seems to have gotten their groove back, right?
Yeah.
And I think we were all excited to see where this could lead next once that groove is that like momentum is found. And I think this episode started with an acknowledgement of that, but at the same time, the episode did take a little bit of a detour, in my opinion, in continuing certain storylines that have developed throughout the course of the season. But it felt odd, to be honest, because while I very much enjoyed the episode, I did feel like it was like a momentum stopper from where we left off
from
previously.
The last,
yeah, and it just felt like it gave us a breather in a point where we didn't need it.
It was more like this, like laid back, chill. It was just
and that's not to say that things didn't happen. There's a couple like serious developments here in this episode, but once again, I immediately felt like once I identified what this episode was about, it did feel like, oh, okay, it's like I really thought it was going to be like 100 miles an hour from here from this point on, but it seems like it was still one of these episodes where they really wanted to tie certain things together. And yeah, I gotta admit, like it felt odd for the most part. It kind of took me out of the episode for certain moments. But other than that, still, once again, I enjoy and love these characters so much that whether I'm seeing them struggle or have conflicts, like, or even some of them here, they found a lot of moments of happiness. I'm rooting for them. So
Yeah.
there's no complaints on that side of things. But for a lot of people, I think they're gonna feel the same way. They're gonna feel like, this feels odd. Like I thought we were gonna be like on the up and up, and we kind of
Yeah.
just stayed at this point. So I'm hoping moving forward, with the 4 episodes left,
Mhm.
that really like we can continue that strong momentum from what the last episode offers. So we'll see.
Mhm. This episode was, I would say, I would agree with you there as well. This is more a relaxed episode, more of like, let's take a breather. We're not going to show you all football because last episode we got nothing but football, which was
Yeah.
good. I loved it. It kind of leaves us. It kind of has a little jump start, which we kind of have. Like time has passed, which we kind of have in the past episodes,
Yeah.
right? We've had
Yeah.
that where
Yeah.
like, oh, a few weeks have passed or a month or like it's happened, and we kind of get the sense of that in this episode. We're not gonna spoil it for you. There is a jump, but we're not gonna mention
Yeah.
it how far the jump is just yet. But knowing that the formula is pretty much almost, it's working, right? It's working in a way to
Yeah.
where it keeps us entertained, keeps us going, because a football season, granted, it's kind of long a little bit, so you cannot, like, I get it. I get why they're doing the jumps, because it makes sense for the story, it makes sense for the entertainment wise, because you can't have the show. That was the thing about Ted Lasso. It wasn't always focused on football. It was
Yeah.
more focused on the characters. But this one has to do it all in one season.
Yeah.
And so, that's the struggle here in itself. But we see a lot of revealing things. We see a lot of things that I don't want to say happy for, but certain things, because it's not to mention spoilers, but like, yeah, it was definitely like an outcome that I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The show,
yeah,
this episode, make no mistake, regardless of it not feeling like a momentum gainer, in certain ways the momentum feels like a pit stop, but the
yeah.
characters did
Something,
progress.
yeah, something.
Storylines progressed.
Yeah, stuff did happen here, to where it really acknowledged certain things that we knew,
Yeah.
and acknowledged new things that we did not know, in a way to where, without going to, it's so hard without going to spoilers, but it's definitely where it didn't reach us like a new story arc like the last one did, or the one before. Like, it didn't give
Yeah.
us like this grand, like mid-season finale in a way, because I kind of felt like the last two, or even the last episode, kind of gave us that in a way.
Yeah, for sure. Like the middle
This
point.
one, yeah, this one's like that one episode where you come back from the fall and then you're like, what the heck is going on? And like, it relaxes you back into the series, the season in itself.
Yeah. And we deal with some very like much like Ted Lasso does in certain moments in the season.
Yeah.
Like it is dealing with serious things. We have characters go through specific situations. Without spoiling, including our protagonist Ted Lasso, dealing with complicated issues like emotions and different conflicts.
Yeah.
Like things that are tough for any character to endure,
Yeah.
and the audience will find themselves asking like, like, is this person going the right path? Is this other person not going to the right path, and things like
Yeah.
that? So once again, it's just what makes this show so human.
Yeah.
A lot of these things is what people truly deal with on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
and it had some important narrative here, I think. Like, once again, it just feels like I didn't think that this momentum thing, or this shift was going to happen
Yeah.
directly after like last episode, but
Yeah.
still very enjoyable. There was one thing I wanted to cover, but I'm trying to be careful with the
Yeah.
spoilers. But there's characters here that that show up that I don't know if it's like they're
Mhm.
closing of their presence or like their storyline. I'm not
Yeah.
too sure. Certain characters are going to evolve in a way where we're either going to see less of them throughout the series, or
Mhm.
it's leading to the climatic point of
Yeah.
the show, right?
Yeah, and I thought we're gonna see something more, because the title, in my point of opinion, the title doesn't make sense in this this is probably like one of the weakest titles of the
How
series
come?
of it. So
Oh
it
well,
just
we can
yeah
talk
we'll
about the
talk about
spoiler one.
spoilers. Yeah, but like
Yeah.
it kind of did. It wasn't the main story, or was trying to be the main story, but something else was
Oh, okay, I
happening.
get what you're
So
saying.
like I was like I wished if it was the other main story that happens
I have a
because that
counter
was
to that,
more
but
yeah
I'll
okay
explain. Yeah, I'll
yeah
explain
okay
on
yeah.
the spoiler
So
one.
and we'll talk about that very soon. But yeah, it definitely was like what like why is it titled this? And I get why it's titled it, but at the same time I'm like I wish it was titled another way, another phrase,
Yeah,
because something else happened important for certain individual. But yeah,
yeah,
this definitely it definitely took a toll because Ted Lasso is of course we see him struggle even more so with himself without mentioning the yeah, it's hard to
yeah.
not to yeah with certain situations and everything. But you get to see is there a lot of laughter in this episode? It's not really. I would say this is probably like one of the like
It's
not
more serious.
yeah, like
Yeah,
more
it's more serious
serious,
for sure.
more things happen in a way,
Yeah,
but I kind of feel like more so like an important thing happens, but I kind of feel like that wasn't the significant thing that
for
actually
sure.
happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was almost like a domino effect where something
And
did happen. Yeah.
yeah, and to
And
set the expectation, like I said on the last episode, last episode I probably experienced the most laughs that I've had for sure in the
yeah, for
season, but
sure.
pretty high up on the series as a whole.
Yeah.
This one is a little bit. I don't want to call it a somber episode, but like we said,
Yeah.
it deals with some serious things.
Yeah.
But there's always still joy to be found here.
Mhm.
There's without too many details. There's particular sequence with our very loved diamond dogs that I thought it was very well put together.
Yeah. And there's
Everyone
a
needs a
scene in the
diamond dogs
locker
in their
room
lives.
that was good. There's a scene in the locker room that was pretty
Yeah.
good. And granted though, okay, I'll admit it. And granted, there's plenty of times where I'm countless laughing. I can't count my laughs because I lose count. But this one I could probably say I laughed about 4 times to be
Yeah.
exact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
I think that's
it
fair.
wasn't. But that's the point though. I feel like this episode wasn't directed at a way to where like it was meant to be funny. I feel
For
like it was
sure.
directed to where
It
like we're gonna
accomplished
hit.
what it needed to
Yeah,
do.
we're gonna hit a serious moment here, and we're gonna leave it at that, and it's gonna set up for more stuff because I kind of feel like we're missing something out of this episode, and in a way to where like it's gonna continue that story in the next four. I
Yeah.
would say because it's definitely gonna have
I
development
agree.
here, yeah. And so, but overall, I enjoyed this episode. It was still good. I would say as of right now, right? As of right now, it's not the weakest episode because in my opinion, I would probably say right now, thinking of it off the top of my head, probably episode probably one might be the weakest one, I would
Oh yeah,
say.
I remember you didn't
Yeah,
like
yeah, the
the
episode one
opening.
would
Yeah.
probably be the weakest one for me as of right now,
Mm.
of the season, because we're at episode 8.
Mhm.
So but that's just me saying it because but for the most part though, Ted Lasso season 1 episode 1 wasn't like the best episode either, so it just it really grows on you and all that stuff. So I definitely enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed the little relaxed one. I enjoyed this. We got a little bit serious development here, but yeah, let's stop beating around the bush, Lex. Let's talk about
Yeah.
this episode. But right before, guys, if you have not, once again, guys, like, share, subscribe to us on our YouTube channel because we're gonna mention spoilers. But Lex, what was your rating before we mentioned spoilers?
Yeah. So for this episode, I believe I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Dang!
Yeah.
Dang!
Yeah.
What would if Stanley corrected? We had to go back to the footage here. We had to go back to the footage
It
because
is the
if I'm not mistaken,
yeah.
this might be the lowest one because the last episode you gave it a 10, right?
Yeah. I think I
Dude,
gave a
you
10
went
the
from a
last 2
10 to
episodes.
a 7. Oh man!
7.5.
Oh,
7.5.
okay, 7.
Yeah.
Oh my god, 7.5.
Me
Okay,
personally, if I hold myself accountable and like talk to
dude,
myself, like
that's probably one of your lowest
I want to
ratings.
be
Like
transparent. No, not
even for
ever. There's
movies,
been some
even
shit
for
that I
movies.
don't like at all. Um,
Yeah,
no, but I do think for me for this particular
yeah,
season, and this is not a bad thing because you
mhm,
guys know I have felt very strong about previous episodes, and I
definitely.
have defended this season a lot compared to
Yeah,
other people. But I do admit, like this for me in
mhm,
particular, I think is the weakest episode of the series of the show so far of this season. I'm
yeah,
sorry. But once again, when we're talking about Ted Lasso and a show that holds itself to really high standards, their low is not necessarily the low that other people are used to with other
yeah.
shows, right? So just keep that in mind. I did not hate this episode. I
No,
enjoyed it. There's stuff that gets progressed. Just once again, the momentum kind of took me off a little bit, off of the illusion, and off of the. I don't want to say, maybe like the last episode left me on a high. So then for me to kind of like come off of that high, there's always a little bit of a shock effect. So 7.5 for me. What about you, Ren?
Yeah, so my
You're gonna give it a 10, dude.
No. I'm gonna give this a solid 6.5. We were 6.5. Yeah. I'm a little bit more critique. Everyone knows movie talk fans, Alamo City Movie Talk fans. I'm very. You call me picky. You would critique whatever the case may be, but like it definitely, it's definitely different, right? I'm a little bit more critique than Lex is. Lex has given movies like a 9 or like above or whatever, and I'll usually I'll usually give it a. We're pretty much on the opposite side. There's plenty of times though where we're on the same side where we both don't like a movie or that case, or maybe it was slow. But I'm a little bit more critique, so yeah, I'm gonna give it 6.5. This episode was, again, we got a little bit of development here, not as much as I wanted because we're so used to. But again, I don't know if we're just spoiled, because we're spoiled. We are, because how great Ted Lasso episodes have been, and then now it's like we gotta bring it down a little bit. And who's to say, this episode might take effect on the next one or the next one after that. We might hear that story get revamped or re-brought up in this episode. But yeah, I'll leave it at that, guys. Episode 8, We'll Never Have Paris. And yeah, that is our regular review, guys. So we're going to talk about spoilers now. Spoilers. So if you have not seen Ted Lasso, or you just do not care if you listen to spoilers, episode 8, like I do, I don't care. So if you do not care, guys, let's talk spoilers. Let's talk about it. We got a lot to talk about here. So this episode runtime was currently 55 minutes.
Yeah.
Another good one. Another good, pretty much almost an hour. Pretty much an hour. This episode opens up with Nate, which are very surprising. I was very surprised at that. I was like, oh snap, Nate. Okay. And then we get a little glance of, oh, we didn't open it with Nate. Wait, it opens up. Yeah, it opens up with the team winning. There you go. That's what it is. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where the show has done this in the past where they don't necessarily show you but they don't necessarily show you the footage from the match, but instead they show the reception of the fan base, both at like May's pub. The announcers, they showed the announcers, they showed the audience in the stadium, which I think is good because once again, it's showing the uplift that this team winning has on the people.
The pub fans was cool.
Yeah. And then last week we did get a lot of football, like you said, Ryan.
Yeah.
But I do wish they would have shown us like maybe another like nice play.
See now who's picking out? Picking out? Yeah. Last week you were like, oh, or like 2 weeks ago you were like, oh no, we it's this story. It's about you. It's more than just football. Now we're reversed.
No, I'm just saying because of the total football transition, right?
No, I know. We're used to it. We got spoiled.
We're happy to hear that Richmond. I think throughout the whole little montage, I think they went on a 4-game winning streak. So
yes,
it's been about a month on that jump that takes place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could even see like in part of that montage, they also showed Rupert being pissed off, which I'm glad because we haven't seen Rupert in a long time. But I'm glad that when we do see him, he's just pissed. So it's always good to see that.
Yeah, man. That was really good. And also we saw Nate looking through articles saying Richmond's on a hot streak or they're on a winning streak now.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. And then we're gonna skim through. We're gonna mention all the major points here.
For sure.
But we also did get Ted's ex-wife and Dr. Jacob. Is that his name? Dr. Jacob?
Yeah,
Jacobs. Who gives a shit about that guy? Sorry. Did I say it out loud? So Dr. Jacobs here. Is it really effed up that I think Ted should have spoken up and been like, well, I thought we had a plan, and like he didn't speak out on that, which I thought the new Ted Lasso was speaking out about his emotions and his feelings and everything, but he held it in this time. And you could tell it really bothered him. It really bothered him. And I kind of felt like he could not speak up in a bad way, right? I don't mean by that, guys, moviegoers. I don't mean like in a bad way. There's a way to say things. I would have been like, hey, well, I thought we had this planned out. We were gonna
So
do
I
this.
might have
Yeah,
missed that part, but so was their plan originally that they were all gonna be there?
they were gonna go to the
Okay,
English
and then
country.
she told, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
I totally agree with you.
yeah.
Ted has had a
That's
lot of
messed up.
development in being able to
Yeah,
speak his mind. I do think that the setting is different here, and it makes it tough on him.
yeah,
I'm not saying he shouldn't have. He probably should have, but what I'm saying is like it's a lot harder for him to speak up in the spot when he just gets delivered those news, which I don't agree with, like his wife just dropping that on him. But um if you recall, like on the last time when he actually did speak up, it took him about a whole day to process everything and then
yeah,
have a conversation with Michelle in private. Like I don't think he wanted to do it A in front of Henry, B like in front of the doctor and things like that. So he was definitely put in a position where it was uncomfortable for him to even just process that, but he
yeah,
had to. And you saw that that did take a toll on him because it's the emotion that carried him through the rest of the episode. However, Ted has developed his circle of trust, and he was able to openly talk about his frustrations with different people.
yeah,
Which it just thought to me like she actually didn't talk to Dr. Sharon about it. We haven't seen them chat a bit, but throughout the episode, he touches base with the Diamond Dogs. He touches base with Rebecca and
yeah,
even Beard, right? Like just talking those things out. So Ted is still on that path, but for sure you could see that this particular point compared to others hit a spot for him because his ex-wife Michelle tells
yeah.
him like we're going to Paris. Paris is the place of romance, and
Yeah, and
my wife Eileen.
he
Oh, I'm
jumps to
sorry.
conclusion. Yeah, he jumps
Yeah,
to
he jumps
conclusion.
to the
Yeah,
conclusion. Of course, like and my wife Eileen, I think she pointed out that I previously on the show on the series that it had been mentioned that maybe they were supposed to go to Paris, like Ted and
yeah,
Michelle, and if not, like that was addressed here as well. Like it
mhm,
was a thing that they had considered. Michelle had expressed like liking Paris, so of
yeah,
course it hits close to home. And
yeah.
overall, this is kind of
I
like setting up the main thing that Ted goes
yeah.
through this episode.
Yeah, I think you're totally right there, and it really hits up more emotional because it's like he's more emotionally hurt by it because he wanted to take her
Yeah.
versus him, and I get
And
that.
I'm not.
That makes
I don't
sense.
think
Yeah.
he still has feelings for her, but it's just the
No,
hurt
no.
right behind of,
Yeah, because that
especially
used to
because
be your wife. I mean,
he
come on.
still
Yeah,
feels betrayed by like Dr.
yeah.
Jacobs. Like, dude, like he ambushed Ted
I
during the
know,
sessions
dude.
that they had.
Hey,
Like, it's
all I'm
horrible.
saying, me and Angela talked about that. All I'm saying is that, yeah, Doctor Confidentiality. It's yeah, he should be fired, or at least
Yeah,
something should have happened
lose the
because
license.
you're not
Yeah,
supposed to. Yeah, that you're not supposed to be doing that. Yeah,
yeah,
that is unethical. We'll leave it
for
at that.
sure.
But and then we get into we jump start over here to Keely
Yeah,
real quick, and Keely's phone's going off, and we're like, I thought,
another
yeah,
main
another.
plot point here. Yeah,
Yeah, so here's the main plot point. The main plot of the episode was, the Paris thing. And then when we originally talked about it was I originally thought it should have been named not Keely's episode, but something of the nature of what happens to Keely here. And Keely's looks like she did send. I mean, at the time of this episode, you don't know who she sent it to, but we do find out at the very end it was Jamie, which I kind of originally already thought it was because Roy
yeah.
was asking her. I was like, oh, it's probably. I mean, for the beginning, I was like,
Well,
it's probably
yeah.
Jamie.
Well,
Yeah,
and to give more context to the audience, like, so, well, we're assuming you saw the episode, but we're talking about the leak of information, right?
yeah.
The
The
leak of a
leak
personal
masturbation
video of
video.
Kelly.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
pretty much like they're sexting and things like that, and
yeah.
instead of a nude, there was a whole video that got
You
leaked of
know,
Kelly, and yeah,
yeah. This is very different because I'm not saying we're used to it, but in a world where we're used to like, because I thought it was gonna be like a photo, right? But
yeah.
it was something very different, a masturbation video. I was just like, I thought it was gonna be a sex tape of her and Jamie. I really thought it was gonna be. I was all
Oh
like,
yeah, no,
oh, Jamie's gonna show up, and then like Roy's gonna see it. And it's gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be like
no,
definitely
yeah.
not good. But it's something very different. I would say. I never
Yeah,
expected that.
and I do want
Yeah,
to touch on the Jamie stuff like a little bit closer to the end because it's kind of one of the final things that gets revealed. Not that we
yes,
have to
yeah.
go in order, but
No, we could
yeah,
touch up. Yeah,
we could immediately see like Keely's impact on this. She freaked
yeah,
out. She was kind of keeping herself together. Jack did a relatively good job at kind of like letting
yeah.
her know like, hey. We'll take care of it. Just
In a
it's
way,
okay, relax. Yeah, in a way, um, but yeah, Keely was there.
She's
There's
broke. She
and
got
there's a
broken.
conversation around this episode. This is one of the serious topics that I talked about, where
Yeah.
there's the whole conversation around like the invasion of privacy, right? And
Yeah.
Keely is a model that has done like nude shoots, topless, etc. Like, and Keely even had a conversation with Rebecca later in the episode talking about like, yeah, I'm not stupid. I know there's photos of me out there, and they didn't mention this, but of course, like people see them, people interact with it, comment on it, or
Yeah.
whatever. But those are things that she chose. She had the power, and she like consented to having that out there based on her decision. But to have something that
Of
was meant
course.
for someone that you're with, um, be exposed like that, like it's just you know it definitely feels like violating because it's a part of you that was not intended for anyone else. So
Yeah.
there's even a whole locker room conversation around that.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
it's huge. It's huge because this
yeah,
is definitely where that subject being taken. It's taken into context. It's something that I never thought that was in, because at the time when when I was growing up, you know, sexing was kind of coming about, and it was more to send nude like dick pics and um boob pics and all that stuff. But
yeah,
granted, you're sending so she's sending it to Jamie, her significant other, and it's meant for them. But obviously, if it gets leaked out or whatever the case may be, it's very exposing. It's very
yeah,
exposing. It's very vulnerable, especially this one, because it is her masturbating. It is her. It goes. It doesn't really go too much into detail, but it kind of like, I meant to send this genuinely to somebody that I cared about at that time, and
yeah.
it definitely was a shocker to me, because I was just like, oh man, like I thought it was gonna be more funny than serious in that way. But this really took an effect to Keely, because she was just like, my mom's gonna see it, my parents, all my family are gonna
The
see
people in the
this. Yeah,
office, which now she's a boss, she's in a position of authority.
yeah, she's a
Like it's
yeah,
different, right?
yeah, it
It's
definitely is. And even more so, that locker room talk. What do you think about that locker room talk? Because I noticed everyone was kind of like on the fence here on that locker room
yeah,
talk. So if you had, and granted, oh my god, Danny, oh my god, and then what was the French guy's name? Oh, what's his
Montclair.
name? Oh my god, he was still there for
It was fun.
hours.
Yeah. So there was humor and levity around that locker room
Yeah.
conversation, but there was serious points being brought. So it's one of those things where like you're addressing something serious through comedy, but you're pushing
Yeah.
you're pushing a narrative point that is good to have people think about, right? But yeah, there was a whole conversation amongst the teammates, which by the way, we all know this, they're all men, so it definitely is from a different point of view, as from when it's experienced
And they're
by
celebrities, though.
women,
Let's be honest, they're
but they're
celebrities.
celebrities. So they
Yeah,
did, because this leak did particularly target people. It
celebrities.
wasn't a specific Keely leak, but it was a leak of celebrities, famous people, etc. And so the football players did talk about like you know like if there was two conversations. There was like if their stuff leaks, but also it was about like, okay guys, do y'all keep stuff from people that you've dated in the past and things like that? And so there was a whole conversation, and even Isaac, the captain, like he said like, no guys, just fucking delete
Lead them.
everything
Yeah.
from anyone you've dated in the past or whatnot. Like just get rid of it, because this shit happens. Like they shit gets leaked. And there was like a point of like, well, these are mine, they're memories or whatever. There was a whole thing, right? And
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into that, because it's hard for me to even deconstruct myself. But yeah, we do see that some people were cool with it, some people were not.
Yeah.
But clearly Jamie and Roy
I
were
mean,
were
yeah.
impacted by hearing that this
Pers-
happened to Keely.
yeah, personally, I'll admit, personally, I mean, when I was dating, it was just, yeah, I get sent boob pics. Did I keep some? Yeah, I did. I mean, I'll be honest here. I mean, it's I have to be honest. It was just, well, did I keep it? Yeah. And then when he went on to the next girl, I was like, I kept them still. Just like, I mean, I don't know if it's just. I don't know. I don't know why. Don't, because men are just gross. I mean, but it definitely was interesting, because I liked seeing both sides of the conversation. I liked seeing
Yeah.
more different point of views here. And even, oh my gosh, Danny, the sweetheart Danny was just
Yes, we
like he
just have
was,
to do what's right.
yeah. No, but even solo, he was just like, I have all these girls and I kept them all, and like, oh
Oh
man,
yeah.
yeah, when he was there just deleting them, I was just like, oh man.
Well,
Because I mean,
and
they get sent to him. They're celebrities. They're gonna get
yeah.
sent.
Or they date a lot of people, like things like but yeah,
Yeah,
they get sent. So, yeah, so there was a whole conversation about, but keep in mind, like most of the reason why they were asking to delete it is because
because
they're
the Keeley
famous. They could
incident.
be targeted. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
Keeley thing was a trigger point. Like,
Yeah.
guys, let's just get rid of
And
it
and furthermore into this, we see Isaac go, which we do find that. Well, Isaac finds out, right? Isaac finds out.
in regards to Colin.
Yeah, which was I kind of, it kind of draws me in because the way Colin was making those comments, like, oh yeah, kill the girl, but like, you could just, I don't know if we could just tell. I don't know if it's just because we knew. It was just, he was just,
He was very protective of both. Like he feels
yeah.
like these pictures, like you know, he should be able to keep them or
Yeah, he
whatnot. Like,
should, and I get that. I get that. That's what I'm saying. I totally get that.
yeah,
It should be your right to keep them. That's fine, whatever, because they were sent to you, whatever. But you got there's two sides. There's always two sides to the story. Like two different people take it one way, you may take it the other. So I get that. And then we see Isaac take his phone, and actually, I think again, we're assuming, right? We're
yeah,
assuming that it's actually a picture of his boyfriend that
yeah.
sent it to him. And Isaac doesn't really say anything, but he just like nods. Right? I could have sworn he like nods like this,
He
right, or
didn't
something.
necessarily not, but he was like right, and then he like
But he
gave
was
it
like in
to
a
him.
mad voice, but like, he was in a mad face, but like the whole time he's mad. So that's just the way
Yeah,
he
he's
is.
always mad.
Yeah, he always
I,
looks like a
I
bad
I
face.
think I think he was confused, but also
Yeah,
like ashamed because he did kind of cross a line there himself, like in
yeah,
terms of privacy. Because yes, like he
yeah,
told Colin is like, hey, we should delete it, bro. I'm not kidding. And
yeah,
Colin had stepped aside so that he can delete it in private.
yeah,
But yeah, Isaac grabbing his phone and things like that. I know like it's different with like with you know with heterosexual men. Perhaps they're
yeah.
used to that, like, yeah, just I mean it's boobs, like, but let me see it, I'll delete it for you type of thing, right? But
Yeah,
this
because they're
is
used
different.
to
Like
it. Yeah,
it was still not right for him to do that. And Colin did feel disappointed because that's clearly not the way that you want someone to find out. Like he
yeah.
already put himself forth in talking with Trent,
Trent.
which
Yeah.
Trent had figured it out, but he opened up to Trent, but I don't think he was ready to open up to Isaac or everyone
Yeah.
else. So
But
yeah,
that's
it
gonna
was
be, that's what I'm
tough
saying. That's probably a setup to what we're gonna see
for
in the
sure.
next episode. So
I do think
that's
so,
what, yeah,
because Colin's
definitely,
story is yet to be
yeah.
closed off or
And
things like that.
I know you said it already, and then we saw it more so in this episode, but we actually saw more of a heartwarming Jamie, of Jamie
Yeah,
Tart in here, and touching back to where we're talking about the Keeley incident. Um, Jamie feels horrible about it because he knows it was his, but so that's the thing we talked about that you already mentioned, Lex, was that it's serious but funny. Freaking Jamie's password is literally password. He's like, I thought it'll confuse him because that's two S's, and I'm all like, oh my god,
yeah.
Jamie. And I was laughing. I was just like, that's why I said
He's
four labs. That
yeah,
was one of the four labs.
he's still such an idiot, but
Yeah.
he's still showing us like
He owns up to it though.
he
That's the
owned up
thing.
to it.
Yeah.
That's typically not something
Yeah. He's done at
he
like,
would do.
yeah. And I love that because we actually see more of a genuine side. So we see more of a character arc with him because we see him really, he feels bad for Keeley. He
Yeah,
does. Like, granted, there's so many times where he's a dickhead and he's just like, I don't give a crap about anybody. We've seen that in season 1,
yeah.
and even more, a little bit more in season 2. But
And
yeah, Lex, you're right, man. This character, this Jamie is just,
dude,
it's crazy,
it's
man.
insane. Because if you
Yeah,
think about it, even the way that he like apologized to Killy, but
yeah,
also he was transparent in saying like, "Hey, after we broke up, I kept him. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
Like you started dating Roy, but I thought you did it to make me jealous, so I still had him. But once I saw that you guys were a real thing, I got rid of it."
You
And
got rid of it.
he
Yeah,
explained like the reason why it got leaked is because I
Freaking
forgot that it's in my
email.
emails, right? And that
Yeah.
happens for sure. Like,
Yeah.
but I just even his level of transparency in letting him
Yeah.
know, like, hey, I went through a process of understanding where you were at in your new relationship, and he clearly, he didn't specify it, but he clearly has respect for Roy as well now. So of course he wanted to respect the boundaries, and he didn't go there to like apologize to Keely and then try to get something in return. Truly, it was just to empathize. He asked her how she is. And we did have a similar scene of Roy checking in on her,
Mhm.
but Roy, in my opinion, went about it the wrong way because after
Yeah.
checking in on
Oh
her,
man, Roy. Yeah.
saying like, "Hey, I'm sorry you're going through this," Roy did let the best of himself fall through, and
Yeah.
instead like went on to ask like, hey, like, who was that for originally,
I
like.
mean, I'll be honest. Like, if I was an ex and like you're not, it's hard because it definitely is because you can't. He let his emotion. He let himself like be the. He was just upset about it because he's like, well, who'd you send it to? Because you didn't send that to me, and but at the same time, I'm like, you're not in a relationship with her, so you shouldn't
Yeah,
have the right to ask her that because you're not in a relationship with her. Versus if you are, then it's a little bit different, right?
yeah.
But he's not,
And
and
he caught himself, but
yeah,
you could
but
see that
yeah, he
you
got
could
pissed.
you could
Yeah,
see that in a moment of vulnerability that Keely's dealing with, that was not the
that
right
was not the right thing to say, Roy. I'm
approach,
sorry.
right?
Yeah.
And
You
he.
you did a Jamie Tart. That's what you
Yeah.
did.
No, and he hates
Yeah.
himself for that because he
Yeah.
immediately was like, "Fuck!" Like, and
Yeah.
it's sad because like this is one of the first interactions that we get
With him, we
one
yeah,
on
together.
one, Keely and
Yep.
Roy, like after the whole breakup, and
Yeah.
for it to fall through like that. I'm not saying like, oh, Roy did an extremely fuck up. It was an honest
Yeah.
mistake, but he did get. I do
Sucks.
hope that one of the upcoming episodes centers around Roy's processing because we haven't
Yeah.
had like a one-on-one with Roy, and I'm not saying I want a whole episode dedicated to him, but I
Yeah.
really would like to see what's going on behind the scenes and
Hmm.
how he can uh, process the emotions as he's doing. Um,
Yeah.
one
Well,
of yeah, I'm sorry,
the
go ahead.
the Jack thing. Let's mention that real quick. The
Yeah,
Jack thing. So I knew it. I was all like, she's obsessed. I was just kidding. But I don't want to say she backstabbed Keely, but in
no,
a
that was
way, no, in a way, it kind of shut her down because of the fact that when they went I believe they were miniature golfing, right? Um,
yeah.
yeah, so they went miniature golfing, and she introduced, I guess, some old friends. And I don't know. I thought she was already like I don't want to say out of the closet, but I thought she was already like publicly like she was a lesbian, because it made it seem like she was already a lesbian already to begin with because of the
She did
interaction.
it.
Because yeah, the way she was with Keely, I assumed, right. I assumed
I
that she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we get more into the episode, and come to find out, she introduces Keely as just a friend. Isn't that a slap to the face? Like Keely
It
was
is.
just like, dude,
It's
that's a
bad.
slap to the face, bro. That's oh
I
my
don't
god.
think I don't think it's because she's hiding that. I don't
What
think
do you
she's
think? What do you
processed
think?
it. I think what happened is because this was post leak. I have two theories
Yeah,
on this, and it shows Jack's true colors, and we do
yeah,
see that towards the end of the episode and how she mishandled the situation in trying to be supportive with Keely. She went the other direction, but essentially post leak, I believe that Jack was then embarrassed,
yeah.
to have Keely like
With
be
her.
associated with her
Yep.
in a form in like, it's my girlfriend, but my girlfriend just had like a huge leak that's in my eyes embarrassing. i'm,
Yeah.
I'm thinking from Jack's point of view, right? Because there was like the whole press situation where
Hmm.
she was kind of forcing Keely's hand of like having an apologetic take, but Keely's like, it's not my fault that I got leaked and I
Yeah.
shouldn't need to apologize about
Apologize
this.
for it. Yeah.
Some assholes fucking leaked this shit. but
I agree.
but post leak, remember, how they were gonna have an event with family and there was
Yes.
gonna be press, and she
Yes.
canceled it. And she did initially say or made it seem like it was because, well, I did it because I thought that with press you wouldn't want to deal with
But
that.
that's bullshit. That
That's
is bullshit. It
bullshit.
was her.
I
she
see
didn't want
now
to.
that
Yeah.
is she didn't want to be associated because she
Hmm.
was gonna be okay with showing off
Yeah.
Keely to
Yeah. To
friends in
everybody.
public.
Yeah.
So I don't think that she's
Yeah.
like closeted. I think she's open because she was about to lean in for a kiss with Keely, but once
Hmm.
she sees an old friend of hers, she went with the friend thing once again because of the leak. I think she was embarrassed, and that's such a bad take. Like Jack truly showed her true colors. I'm not saying she was like a hidden villain mastermind or whatever. It's still a
That's what
human
I'm saying. That's what I'm
response,
saying.
but it's a response behind
Yeah.
someone that cares more about their world than
Yeah.
the person that you're sharing your life with
I
and
mean,
claiming to be like in a serious relationship with.
I knew it. I knew it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I knew it.
I gave Jack the
Hey,
benefit of the
okay.
doubt, but
So
yeah,
yeah, okay. I don't know, guys. Put in comments down below. I could be the only one in the world that believes this, but I really, but again, Roy kind of shot himself in the foot right when he said that. But I want Roy and Keely to be back. I want them to be back together. That's what I want. I want them. I was always rooting for them. I do want them back together. I never was rooting for Jack, not because it was more so because it was kind of daunting because it was just like, man, like she's just doing more, all this like stuff, like they've been together for so long. And I just, Roy and Keely's, they were just so good dynamic wise. They were just so good.
yeah.
And so I was rooting for that couple, just like Ted, everyone was rooting for that couple. And so, when we saw, everyone really took a shock on that. And, it just, I really am rooting for them. I hope she goes back to Roy Kent. I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe she just stays single and then, the series will end like that with her being single. Whatever the case may be, I just hope that she ends up a very happy ending for her character
Yeah,
because, yeah, this is
she
definitely,
deserves it.
yeah, she does. And, no, now that she has her own company because, that was the first step, right? In her huge character arc was that she gets to be her own boss. That's
Yeah,
always what she never thought she could dream about doing that, right? And then
yeah,
yeah, and then
and
but yeah,
this is where I say like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I don't think
yeah,
it's the last we see of Jack because of her involvement with the company, but there was that ending
yeah.
of like okay, I think I need to leave, and Keely was very like firm about like I'm not gonna
I'm
do
telling
the
you,
thing.
it's gonna end badly because she's gonna get investors to not invest, and it's gonna end badly. That's all I'm saying. And
We'll see.
we talked about it. Didn't we talk about this? Like we talked about it when
Yeah,
we talk fans.
I
Go
don't
look
know
at
if
other
it's gonna go
episodes.
to that
We said
extent,
it.
but
We said it because when it comes to pleasure and work, and like
well, yeah,
you
it
don't,
gets messy
yeah,
for sure.
you don't do any
I think
relationship.
it's still messy.
It doesn't
Yes.
matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's this is a lesbian couple, obviously, but it doesn't matter if it's man, a girl, guy, girl. It doesn't matter. It's gonna end badly because it's pleasure and work together. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, we'll see
Yeah,
what will transpire from that. I hope Jack doesn't retaliate in that, but I do think it's
yeah,
the end of the relationship because
definitely.
Keely is now
Yeah,
seeing the type of person that
she
she
is.
is, and
Yeah,
I don't think it's a fit for who
I
Keely
don't. Yeah,
wants in her corner, right? Like the way that Rebecca supported her versus how Jack supported is entirely different, and you
yes,
want people to support you like that. It
exactly.
just last thing, guys. Sorry, we're going a little over here, but just last thing because I want to make sure you guys don't think we brushed over this one point in particular, but we also saw development between Jade and Nate here, right?
Yep.
Like
Let's go, Jade and
I was
Nate.
actually very surprised to see them like wake up together, but then I was
Yeah, me
like,
too.
oh, it has been a month, I guess. So it's
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, I guess they
Well,
slept together after that day, but
yeah,
I was like, no,
yeah, no,
it was
because
a
it
month.
was a different dress. My Angela was all like, "No, that's a different dress. That's a different." Or
Yeah.
she wasn't wearing jeans. And furthermore into this episode here, we actually let's talk about that. So we actually see Nate wanting to do a diamond dog, but they caught
Uh,
themselves. Oh my
the
gosh, I
hounding
don't.
is
Ha,
something because
yeah,
the West Ham, so I think they're also wolves or something like that. So it was
yeah,
like something wolves, and instead of the
yeah.
wolf, they were like how. It was funny
It
but
was
cringy at the
cheesy.
same time
It was
because
cheesy. I was
yeah,
just like, this guy, like and he's like, oh, we talk about each other's relationships, and he even asked Rupert to be there. Rupert didn't even show up,
yeah,
dude. And I was just like, damn, dude. I was just like, bro. So here's the
Ripper ain't
moment.
it.
Yeah, here's the moment where Jade is actually bringing more happiness into his life. I know you caught. I mean, Lex, was he not wearing black in this episode? Tell me, was he not wearing black,
I'm telling
dude?
you,
dude.
The black thing doesn't. I mean, I get you. There's
There has to be a connection. That's all I'm
there
saying.
is a connection, but that's like when he I don't know, like because he's
Not the black suit. I'm talking about he was wearing a black sweater, and then he was
yeah.
wearing a black. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
West Ham's colors on their away uniform is black and red.
Yeah,
But I get you. I'm not
yeah,
saying that the symbolism is not there.
yeah.
It is there. But I'm also like I don't think he acts different when he wears like one thing or another. I
No,
do
no,
think
no,
there's
no. Yeah, of course not. Yeah, but it's it's gonna it's gonna happen where Return of the Jedi. That's all I'm saying. Darth Vader's gonna he's gonna change at the very moment,
dude.
and that's it.
I
He's
mean,
gonna
you
take
don't
out the
have to
Emperor.
tell me, dude. If anything, I've been calling Nate's redemption from like day one.
Now, do I believe he should get redemption? Hell no. That guy's a snake. Oh, and then we
We're not
forgot to
there yet,
mention,
but
by the way, guys, that Ted actually showed up with his kid. That was so cute. Ted showed up with his kid
that
with
was
beer.
Henry's call. He wanted to watch
Yeah.
a football game.
And Nate, he wanted to see Nate and or a football game. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and but I don't know. I kind of feel like he was up to something. That boy, he was just like, I kind of feel like he googled it. I'd be like, oh yeah, Google.
Maybe.
I was setting
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah, you can see, Henry
Yeah,
likes Nate. He called him out and he was
yeah,
excited that he saw him and everything and we could see Nate was surprised and Rupert
yeah.
obviously said it won't happen again and
And it was
Nate
a
did
major
have a judgment
story.
moment there. Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was covered in yeah, because I
yeah.
mean, yeah, people could be like, "Oh, they're copying techniques or something." But
What?
yeah. Well, I'm just
Okay,
saying, like
whatever.
it
No, I
is
know what you're saying. Yeah,
unorthodox for
yeah,
a coach to go see another one, right? But you could see that inside Nate showed his emotions at first, and he was
yeah.
almost gonna text Rupert like, "Hey, like I just thought it was funny." He still has Rupert like Rupert
He
has
put that
influence on him, so he
he
was
put
like,
that mask on. That's all I'm
yeah, he put the mask on.
saying.
But we're seeing more of the mask off like throughout his life.
Yeah.
Jade herself like
Yep.
brought up a good point to him is like you got to
Hmm.
celebrate your wins. It looks like they did. Richmond is celebrating their wins and he smiled even while looking at the Richmond article and she even said like I really like your smile. I like it. And I find their relationship like super sweet. I'm
Yeah.
personally happy for Nate. I wish they would explain like maybe why Jade was a little bit more like
Hesitant.
cold at the beginning. Like I'd hope they go into that and maybe that there's reasoning behind it. But I do think like
Yeah.
even if the show decides not to explain that, at the end of the day, I think like Jade, anytime that Nate was not being himself or putting on a mask per se, Jade was
That kind
just
of
not
turned her
buying
off.
into that
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
But
And
once she
and
saw
then,
him,
yeah, but even more so though, because Nate was like in the beginning, he was like trying to define the relationship. I was just like, what is this guy doing? Like he's really trying to define a relationship right now. Like it was kind of weird. He was just like, oh yeah, yeah, oh
oh, like
and
the
yeah,
labels
in the
thing.
beginning, yeah, in the beginning, he was just like trying to define it. He was just like, so are we together? Like, and then
Well,
so more
yeah.
furthermore into that, that's when he was trying to get like the guy's opinion. And what was it, Disco? He was like, I've been divorced 3 times. And what did he say? It's
Don't let them know how you feel.
yeah, don't
It's
let them know. It's cheaper to let them know how you feel or something like
yeah,
that
something
of that
along those
nature.
lines.
That was funny. But
But
yeah, I just
like I once again I feel like Jade is gonna be able to be that like voice of reason for him in
yeah,
those moments of judgment.
yeah,
And I find this actress is doing a great job in once again playing a character at first that seemed to have been uninterested and now someone that's warming up to Nate and I also found it extremely sweet how like she saw how important like labels was to him and she's serious about the relationship as well, so like she just kind of dropped it in there. It's like yeah, I like seeing my boyfriend like smile and things like that, and that
yeah.
made Nate
That was good.
happy. It was good. I don't think Nate is there at the point of redemption yet. I'm still calling
Hell
it,
no,
and I'm still
hell no,
there's been
hell
growth.
no,
You cannot deny the
hell no,
growth, my man.
hell
You
no.
cannot deny the growth.
Forget me, the worst villain out there. All right, that's all I'm saying. All right, guys, thank you so much for talking with us. And if you stuck with us this long, thank you so much, guys. We're listening to us on our podcast platform. Be sure to subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, and vice versa. If you listen to us on our YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe to us or follow us wherever you listen to any podcast out there, guys. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan 680.
And this was Lex. Bye everyone, and keep on believing.
Yeah, keep on believing, guys. Stay safe, San Antonio. Peace.